What is going on, Notre Dame fans? Mike Singer, Mike Goolsby, live on a Sunday evening with this week's Mike Goolsby Show. Oh man, lot to talk about with the former Notre Dame captain and linebacker. We just had our 45-minute production meeting where I scripted Goolsby and told him exactly what he needs to say, or else. Obviously joking. Mike, we don't need to dance around it. What are your thoughts? Let's just tell me what, of all the things, of course, we're going to get into the weeds of this game and what's next for Notre Dame and all that stuff. But just your first, what's on your mind about this Notre Dame loss against Louisville?
Well, in thinking in lieu of this show, I was going to mention, so folks, after we get off the air, Singer and I'll talk for a couple seconds. You know, how's life going? What'd you eat at Taco Bell most recently?
Mm-hmm.
Important stuff. And I'm just like, dude, we're going to lose to Louisville. And I did tell you that.
You did.
And yeah, I think, and folks, like, you know, I can't tell you how much prep I personally put in the show. I mean, I watched that game 3-4 times in the previous game, and I try to put notes in my phone. Again, I try to come up with creative thoughts. But when the lights go on, when we go live and we do the show, most of the time I don't really know what is coming out of my mouth. Because you just get worked up. And but I, going back and I watched that last episode, and it seemed like it naturally rubbed people the wrong way. But I just was like, open the show with like, are we getting better? Are we getting worse? And, that was met with, of course, a lot of boo, you don't know what you're talking about. And then like the other kind of message or themes throughout the last episode was, you got to choose where you're at with Freeman. Like, you got to make your mind up as a fan. Am I riding with this guy and I'm going to take the lumps as he learns on the job? That's the only choice, at least for this guy, for this ex-captain. I'm with Marcus. But is Marcus Freeman a good head coach? In game? No, he's not. He's a world-class like off-season coach, all the media stuff and the recruiting pickups and all that. I mean, that's why he was brought here, to be the face of the program, and a big component to being a face of the program. That kind of bears itself out in recruiting, but in-game operations, it's like yikes. And the reason I asked the fan base and I wanted commentary, in terms of the comments, I love reading those comments, was like, are we getting better? Are we getting worse? And to me, man, it goes back to our second to final drive against Ohio State. There's 3 minutes and some change left. We've got them where we want them. We have this freaking game won. Boom. Audric Estime, 11, 12 yards. We take them off the field, and I'm just like, ever since that play, this season, 2023 season, it's been super sketchy, brother. And like, you go back to the Duke game, the 12 penalties. We had to, win the game on a heroic last drive, 4th and 16 pickup from our quarterback. And maybe I'm crazy, Singer, but I'm like, that ain't good. Like, I personally didn't celebrate that. Now, granted, it's Duke, and they've come a long way, and Mike Elko's a great coach. And granted, like, we played well against Ohio State, and, our offense, there's excuses, there's reasons. Jim Knowles, their defensive coordinator, is a great coach. But I'm just like, you could see the writing on the wall that this wasn't trending in the right way. And rubber met the road against Louisville.
Sorry, man. Is your mic kind of tucked into your shirt? Yeah, just pull it out because it was kind of getting muffled here and there. There we go.
On3 bought me this mic.
You sound great. It sounds great. It just kind of dipped into your shirt there.
So anyways, that's where I'm at. That's where I'm starting the show, is like, I'm frustrated. It's hard to watch. It's painful. It's like, we've seen this movie before, but in this instance, I've been doing this long enough and I've been paying close enough attention. It's like, me personally, I'm not surprised. I kind of saw it coming and tried to say as much last episode.
And the biggest indicators for that were just like the struggles against Duke. It's like, yes, well, like, guys like me, we're celebrating that they won. You're more thinking, Yeah, you did, but you're not going to beat Louisville if you keep playing like this. That's
it's weird. It's weird because it's like you saw, Mike, of course, like the Notre Dame football media put out that video post Duke, right, where the coaches, and for those that haven't seen it, look it up on Twitter. But it was basically like this cool edited, like they took like the coaches' microphones and spliced it into the game action, like the build up. It was like a trailer for a movie type thing. It was cool. I like, I didn't like it because again, we're like celebrating. We're trying to capitalize on the fact that we had like to do some last minute heroics to beat a Duke.
Yeah.
So it's like, have we embraced? Like, are we Northwestern, 1994, like the cardiac cats, they used to call them? This before your time, but their former head coach, Pat Fitzgerald, like they won all these games in crazy fashion and like the nation kind of glommed onto it, the cardiac cats. Like, is that what we are? Are we going to embrace that? So like that video, I didn't like it because again, we shouldn't celebrate like a barely win against a Duke. And then just offensively, that you can build in excuses. Again, the excuse for Ohio State, like talent, NFL talent, you're playing a great defensive coordinator. The excuse against Duke was we're just coming off of the Ohio State loss. And then it was like, oh, Mike Elko is a world-class coach. And nobody's calling Marcus Freeman a world-class coach. I mean, when we're talking about in-game operations, nobody's talking about that. So I'm still riding with Coach Freeman. There's not a doubt in my mind. But, folks, this is what you get. He doesn't quite know what he's doing. And how could he? He's never done it before. It's like playing a quarterback that's starting his first game on the road or something. It's like, he might not play well. Like, this is his first start. You got to give some people empathy sometimes. And I'm giving Freeman empathy. The issue is, Mike, the last thing we talked about this like preseason. This is Marcus Freeman's football program, not just football team. This is his football program. Like you got a new AD on the way in, you got a new strength coach, new quarterback, new offensive coordinator, new special teams coach, down the list. Like there is no remnants of Brian Kelly still left in that football building. Right. So he takes full ownership of this.
Right. So looking at the Louisville game, Mike, is there like a biggest blame that you have for this loss, like an area, a position group?
I mean, again, it's like, trying to come up with something creative, Singer.
Dude, just let it rip. You don't
dude. I mean, the blame goes to Parker, who is, a Freeman hire. Freeman, elevated him into the offensive coordinator role. He was previously the tight ends coach last year. And so Freeman's never called a game or never been a head coach before. And Parker has never called a game before. And it's interesting, the reason that people thought that Notre Dame had a chance this year to make a playoff run was due to who, Mike?
Sam Hartman.
And it was like, which is fine. And Sam's a fine player. And like, he's done everything he could, right? Didn't have a great game. I'm not putting it on Sam Hartman. People want me to, people think I'm going to, I'm not. He's surely a part of it. I'm rocking, I'm repping Sam today, dude.
Wait. Do that again, please.
Yeah, dude. I'm rocking the Sam Hartman tee, man. So shout out to home field, but I'm not putting it on Sam. I'm putting it on Parker. I texted actually John Kennedy from the Always Irish podcast.
Love John.
He and I kind of became texting buddies as if he needs any more. But after that first series, after Sam's pick, Parker was shook. And that's why I was just like, Parker's shook. But yeah, it goes to Parker. And Tim Hyde and I are on the same page. And that's one other thing that I was probably accurate about was our lack of like wide receiver talent, even though we were told all offseason how remarkable it is. Like, sure, they're a big part of it, but like they can't be that bad. I mean, you could turn on Akron versus Bowling Green and like they're throwing the ball around the yard. Like it's Parker. We don't have an identity. We talked about this the last couple of years under Coach Reese. We don't have an identity. Like if we want to throw the ball, let's throw the ball. If we want to run the ball, you got to mix it up. Parker's biggest problem is it's like as complicated as football can be, Singer, like it's not that complicated.
Yeah.
Tim talked about this last night, like the numbers in the box. And I called for this, I think 2 weeks ago, Singer. Like, can we give Hartman an audible? Like,
Yeah, we were talking about that.
Send him into the huddle with 2 play calls.
Yeah.
So it's like, we come to the line, you've got another, just stuffed up inside run. Let's check out of it. If they got 9 guys in the box, let's check out of it.
Mike, I'm kind of surprised. Is sympathy the right word? A little sympathy for Hartman?
No. He's making too much money to get sympathy.
Okay, all right. Well, pick a different word then. That's a synonym for that.
Listen,
because Mike, before you go, literally what you said is exactly what I was thinking. Like, and Tim on the board today was like, I don't put this game on Hartman. I was like, I don't put it on Hartman either, but he gets some of the blame. He's just not my biggest reason. So me and you are actually on the same exact page.
Yeah. No, but it's fascinating. So we talk about the inexperience at the coaching level. It's the head guy and Freeman still learning on the job, and it's the play caller and Parker. Yeah, empathy and sympathy are cousins, right? But what did Freeman want in this quarterback this year? What trait? Of course, it's not a tangible thing, right? God forbid we get a quarterback with tangible traits. What was the number one intangible that Freeman wanted in a quarterback, Mike?
Experience.
That's correct. Ding, ding, ding.
So
why did we value experience? Because you have at the quarterback position, you value experience so much. And the quarterback competition, was. As I said, in January 1, we did this podcast, brother. I was like, if the number one trait, the number one thing he's looking for is experience, any other quarterback's going to lose that competition.
Yeah.
So Hartman does take a fair bit of blame, but no, he is not to blame. He hopefully, and this may be no fault of his own, but he was supposed to kind of save or offset the inexperience at the coaching level. He was supposed to elevate the offense, right? He did throw 3 interceptions.
He did, but it just seems like Notre Dame needs a better quarterback to save this mess. Like Hartman, as good as he is, he's not good enough to save this mess right now. Is that fair?
No. That's the thing, Mike. He's not the problem,
right?
Nor is he the solution. Let me say that again.
He's
not the problem. Say it with me, Singer. Nor is he the solution.
Nor the solution. Yeah, because I think to fix this current mess, they need Caleb Williams. Like, I don't know, dude.
Yeah, it would be nice. And when you talk about like the offense, and I've heard everybody complain, it's like, what do you do? What do you do? So I'm happy to get into like putting my little 2 cents in the piggy bank or whatever, like what I might do on offense. But with Sam, as you talked about last night with with Hyde, it's like if the structure of the play isn't perfect, he's not going to thrive. So it would be nice to have a quarterback with some Caleb Williams, escapability, spontaneity, etc. And that's kind of what wins in college football. And that's where it's like, it's tough with Sam. So can you get him out of the pocket, etc. Right?
Yeah. Defensively, Mike, what'd you think? Like, because Tim and I were like, man, they played their asses off in the first half, and then the wheels just kind of fell off the wagon in the second half.
Yeah. I might have watched that Duke game. I sometimes I stay up late and I'll just put the games back on I might have watched that game all in 4, 5.5 times. So I've warmed to our defense, right? Golden's like concepts and stuff like that. They're like a kind of annoying because I'm just kind of like an old school lineup and play guy, but it does kind of work to a degree.
Okay.
And I thought the defense played hard. They definitely got hung out to dry. I played on that 0-2 defense, which is a great defense historically for Notre Dame. And it was like, I don't think we scored a touchdown the first 3, 4, 5 games of the year or whatever. But it's just, so to answer your question, the defense played well. We only created 1 turnover, and that was Sam Hart kind of knocking that ball out. And it was like, hey, not a great play by Cam. Cam got beat, missed a tackle, and by the grace of God, as the guy was like going around him, he reaches his arm out and he knocked the ball out. So we got a lucky turnover. Turnover margins to me are like the most important statistic in college football, right? Captain Obvious, but it's important. We can get into Marist. We can do it.
You know what, Mike? You know what I want to get into? I want to get back into looking at that shirt of yours. Can you show the YouTube?
Only if you're reading a home field ad, dude.
Oh, that's what I'm about to do. You just need to show it off first.
Hey, real quick, yeah. So repping Sam, home field. By the way, I had saw their stuff, and this is me jumping into the ad read, Mike. I had saw their stuff like on an Instagram feed or something like that. I'm like, it's cool. Now I'm not. I never made a purchase, but home field was kind enough to send a box, a ton of stuff. The packaging is great, and I'm telling you, folks, it fits well. It's like if you're gonna buy an ND shirt, take a peek.
Well, now I'm kind of jealous. I want some more stuff. Maybe one of these days I'll get my my tennis sweater finally.
Oh, I was blown away. I was blown away. Very gracious of them. I mean, there's a ton of stuff. Yeah.
Well, folks, this is where I say I'd like to introduce you to home field, but Goolsby just did that. It's a company based out of Indianapolis, and they have some comfortable, officially licensed clothing. And really blowing up as a company too. Like they're just doing phenomenal stuff. That Sam Hartman shirt it is definitely one of their more unique and cool looking products. So I definitely love their Notre Dame's designs. They went back into the archives, the old school stuff, and they've created some unique and thoughtful clothes. So they have licenses to actually over 150 colleges. So you can find that college shirt for anyone. And when you use that promo code BlueGold23, you will receive 15% off your first order with Home Field. It's a site that is easy to shop to find that perfect college football gear that you need to complete your game day outfit. Be prepared for this fall by shopping today at homefieldapparel.com. And remember to use promo code BlueGold23 and you will receive 15% off your first purchase. Yeah, Mike. You guys know that hold on, let me pull this up. The meme of two buttons. Okay, the 2-button generator meme. Let me show this. Maybe I don't know how much you guys are kind of into memes, but I sent this to Goolsby during the game yesterday. For folks watching on YouTube or for folks listening via podcast, I'll explain this to you. It's a guy and he's sweating. He doesn't know which button to pick. On the left side, I could put blame Marist or blame Hartman, and I was like, Goolsby doesn't know which one to pick here. Does he blame Marist or the camp or blame Hartman? So you're not much.
Well, listen, listen, Linda. Go ahead. Did I cut you off like per usual?
No, I was just about to say. I was just going to segue into your thoughts on Marist because
just back to the Hartman thing.
Yeah.
Because it is the quarterback at Notre Dame, right? And he was a very highly touted transfer, and he was. I mean, people didn't think we were going to the playoff because of Jared Parker, the first-time play caller, right? A lot of that fell on Sam, those expectations, and he hasn't met them. The offense hasn't met the expectations, and I've never blamed Sam, but I've asked the question: is this what you thought you were getting when you were so hyped up in the offseason? And it's not, So it's like I said, he is not the problem, nor is he the solution.
Yeah.
But I mean, Marist's boneheaded face mask thing. You could say that lost us the game. Football doesn't work like that. We all know it's it's an assemblage of plays that lead up to certain things. It's part of the reason we love it. Part of the reason I love it.
Yeah.
I've been in that situation before where he was getting double teamed and he was kind of getting his ass kicked. And out of frustration, he did that. My first NFL game, I ran down a kickoff and I was getting the crap blocked out of me. And I went to knee the guy in the head, to get off of the block. It just came out of me. I didn't plan to do it. Didn't get called for a penalty, but yeah, dumb penalty. Fisher had a dumb penalty, but this goes back to Freeman. We've become an undisciplined team. Whatever you saw, the model that you saw the first 4 weeks, it was fool's gold. It just was.
Mike, did you follow the whole drama with the offensive line rotation? How they were?
Well, that was another thing. Yeah. It's bizarre. And I thought Tim made a very novel thought, great thought by Tim, where he was like, Joe Alt was, so again, if folks are, coming in from, if you were underground the last 24 hours, we rotated, like we took out our starting guard. You put in Billy Schrouth, who was supposed to win the job in the offseason, but then got beat in the 11th hour by Pat Coogan. We put him in. Like next series that he moves over to right guard. Andrew Kristopic, who is in the running for the right guard spot, gets slid into center at some point during the game. And Tim said, like, Joe Alt was asked about this in the post-game presser. Joe Alt says that was kind of the plan all week, was to get some, rotate guys. And Tim, I think rightly so, is like, well, if those players are like, well, we're going to rotate guys against Louisville, the team tends to take them less seriously. And I think that's probably pretty accurate. It's silly, but I did say in our preseason preview show, I expected whoever the starters were in Coogan and Spindler. I've never been a fan of Spindler. I was like, I don't think it'll end up that way. I forget exactly what I said, but there's going to be some shuffling, and you saw it this week. So what do you do next week? I don't know.
The strangest thing, do the rotation against Tennessee State, Central Michigan, Navy.
Which is what I called for. Did I not? Did I not, Mike?
It's very strange, dude.
Did I not say that, though?
Yeah, I think you don't even do this at all. I would just be like, go with the guys.
Everybody was like, oh, it's a crazy idea. No, I was like, start Rocco and Coogan, start different combinations the first 2-3 cupcakes of the season, go to Ohio State with the best fit, with the best pairing at guard. I said that a couple different times.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was frustrating to watch.
How are you feeling right now, Mike? You feeling okay? Like what's going on in that brain of yours? Just like you're feeling about Notre Dame football right now. Like just what are you thinking? How's your heart?
It's just it's just frustration. I think just share the same sentiment as everybody. It's frustration, and like for me personally, Singer, like in this role, mixing it up on the message boards, and this, Singer. Like I've taken a ton of heat. Like I have feelings, like it's so like some of my opinions have turned out to be somewhat accurate, but that like doesn't detract from like the 10 months of getting like, negativity. So like in a way, it's like I kind of saw this coming, but then you can't be overly negative like preseason or during the season. So it's a constant wrestling match for me. It really is. But you're disappointed.
Yeah.
You're disappointed.
Yeah, I'm just sad. That's just just kind of sad.
I'm not sad because, like I said, I thought I saw it coming based off the way that we performed offensively, and then some of the coaching decisions, like wanting to go for a field goal at the end of the Duke game. Like, there's just been some like major red flags, and in terms of like running an operation as a head coach. And again, you give him some empathy, you be patient, but like there's some stuff where it's just kind of like, man, I don't know about that.
Yeah. Mike, I got one more ad read here in the meantime. So let's get into that real quick. Let's hear from Irish Realty, folks. It's your ticket to football weekend enjoyment as it presents the Eddy Square Townhomes. These 3, 4, and 5 bedroom townhomes offer everything the Notre Dame football fan could want. 30 renovated and refurbished townhomes have the location you want, with a gathering space to kick back and enjoy your weekend in South Bend. And Eddy Square Townhomes are now available for purchase and affordably priced, starting at $349,900. So stop by and visit the new model just off Eddy Street. That's close to campus, East Race in downtown South Bend. Check out Eddy Square Townhomes at irishrealty.net. Again, irishrealty.net. Goolsby, you want to go in on one with me? What do you think?
Well, we just bought another house. So in the midst of all of this, we're trying to get the current house ready to sell. So holler at me in a couple of years. But yeah, I was at South Bend for the Ohio State game, and there's Irish Realty signs all over the place.
Okay, cool.
And some of those houses are stunning.
Yeah.
Stunning.
Oh, look at that. Goolsby just throwing in a little something for Irish Realty. So check it out.
Yeah, well, I am a sales guy for a living, All
right. Super chats we're going to get to in about 19 minutes or so, or until Goolsby tells me he's ready to go to those.
Yeah, until I wave the white flag, sure.
But I thought this was a really interesting one I want to get to right away. Twist on the question from JP. Is this what Hartman thought he was getting? So you're asking, is this what we thought we were getting Hartman? I think this is a pretty interesting way to put it, Mike. Is this what Hartman thought he was getting? Because, I mean, dude, go ahead, Mike.
Well, are the checks clearing. So that matters. And
You're
then I would
really on
say,
the money thing, Ghouls.
well, it's very real.
Yeah.
It's very real.
And as you said, you're not mad at it.
No, I'm not mad at it. Get your money. No. But I'm sure the check's cleared. Also, this is an interesting little story. So, like, my year for the draft, right? Like, I'm not getting drafted. 6 rounds going by, talking to some teams. It's like, okay, writing's on the wall, you're not getting drafted. So then you jump on the internet and you start looking at like depth charts, like what team's going to give you the best chance to make the team, et cetera. Like you do stuff like that. But it's happening like it's wild. It's happening like live fire because they're trying to cement their rosters or whatever. Sam Hartman had some time to make the decision. You know, he had some time to look at the rosters, et cetera. You know, go back and pick his top 3, interview with the offensive coordinators, watch some film over a Zoom call, all of that. I'm not saying that happened, but all that stuff is entirely reasonable.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yes, he knew what he was getting himself into. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, is Freeman a world-class recruiter? We'd like to think so. And maybe Sam met him with some counterpoints and Freeman sold him on the idea of coming here.
Yeah.
You know, I could tell you like that 10 minutes left in the game. It's 4th and 11, and we go for it in our own territory.
Yeah, you want to talk about that? Thank you for the super chat, JP.
Yeah, thanks, JP. And hopefully I answered your question, buddy. The 4th and 11, why did Freeman do that?
3 timeouts, right?
In 10 minutes left. You know why he did it? And this isn't me blaming Hartman, but he did it because he has Sam Hartman. He believed in that magic that and this is, again, just me throwing stuff against the wall, but I believe this to be true. He believed in that magic. We tried to bottle that magic from that Duke last minute win, and we put it out there for the public to consume with this video I talked about previously. He's like, oh, he can do it. Sam can do it. And I think we took a sack or something, if I remember correctly.
I agree with you.
Yeah. Well, that's not Sam's fault, but Freeman has put so much based off of what I said previously about the inexperience as a play caller, inexperience as a head coach. He gave him the keys to the car because he has 6 years of doing this. And Sam's a really good quarterback, but that's not that in that scenario, the 4th and 11 thing, that's not fair to Sam.
You guys have no idea how much I hate when Goolsby's right.
I haven't been wrong like a lot. I was right about the receivers.
The receivers, that's the biggest thing for me on this team, Mike, where I just feel kind of like duped. I don't know if that's the right term, but just my my optimistic self.
So who do you think duped? And if you were duped, Singer, a lot of folks were. Like a lot of people watching were duped. So who duped you?
I have no one to blame but myself. I bought into it. Like
bought into what though? Was the
talent? I look at the talent. Every receiver in the room, I covered their recruitment. Like I know their story. I've been following them for years. I just liked the thought of Tobias Merriweather, this downfield threat, Chris Tyree, quick outs, underneath stuff. I liked the idea of that, and Jaden Thomas as your Hines Ward, Larry Fitzgerald, that type of receiver. Not saying he's Larry Fitzgerald, folks. Like that. I just liked how those different talents kind of blended together with Mitch Evans and Holden Stays. I was kind of excited about that room.
All right.
So with Deion Colsey, but just injury, Jaden Greathouse, Rico Flores, but injuries not developing.
I swear you don't listen to what I'm talking about during the whole Colsey thing. I mean,
he's been hurt all year.
Yeah. I mean, you got to play hurt sometimes, especially if your team needs you. Like you got to.
No, yeah, I don't think it's.
Sure, I'm sure it's a major injury, but like the Tobias thing, Tobias not currently working out, and I still have faith in him, but that's a huge blow. Let's talk about the receivers. I'm going to run here for a second, Singer.
Okay.
Like I'm watching the first couple of series. I'm like, are they trying to turn poor Rico Flores into a number one? Like Rico Flores does not have the physical skill set to be a field receiver. He just doesn't. He doesn't. He's not going to take the top off of defense. And you kind of saw the end result of that. And Sam's first pick this week But yeah, the receiver group as a whole, Jaden Thomas was clearly hurt this game, clearly hurt. And he's a guy, like he's a soldier, big fan of Jaden. But he was, you kind of noticed him limping at the end of the game. I caught it early. I actually texted you and Tim, like he's hobbling around. And so, and that's the other thing. It's like, with a pulled hamstring, you might have had one thing. Like if you pulled any kind of muscle, it doesn't heal in a week. It doesn't, So I don't think you see Jaden Thomas against USC, unfortunately. There's no way. There's no way. Yeah, he's a leader. He's an older guy in the room. He's trying to make it happen this week. But no, he was hurt. You could see him limping early on. Tyree, man, as bad as the offense played, there was a couple opportunities. Not a perfect ball, but that is a tough catch to make, Singer. You know that, and it's like he is a converted receiver. He's a power 5 wide converted running back, power 5 wide receiver. He should make that catch, but I felt for everybody.
I feel for Tyree.
Yeah.
Someone on the message board, Papa Bear, I'm sure is watching or listening to this back, posted on the board and was like upset that Hartman didn't throw a better ball there. And I kind of went ballistic on the board. And I was like, of all the things we're going to talk about, that's where we're going to land? Dude, Mike, that ball was perfect. Tyree adjusted to it late. That was the problem. Okay. I don't know if the lights got in his eyes, but it was a single high safety. So the safety's running over. You have to put that ball more on the outside shoulder than the inside shoulder. Because what did he do when he threw that fade to Rico Flores? Threw it inside, got picked. You can't. If you're going to put it somewhere, you got to put it more to the outside. I think that was literally the perfect ball. Tyree
right. I'll go with it. I'll go with it. That play sucked, though. We had another long play that was brought back by a, hands to the face from a Fisher. I didn't think the officiating was bad. Let's talk about that real quick. The Maris face mask, it was out of the play, but by the letter of the law, it's a penalty. The Fisher thing wasn't egregious, but it was a penalty. Overall, I didn't think the refs were that bad. Yeah. But back to Sam. We talked about this many, many, many times.
It's a theme of the show.
Come again?
I said it's a theme of the show.
Well, he's the reason listen, Sam Hartman is the reason that we were so excited for the season, myself included, right? He's the reason we were like, okay, we're maybe a playoff team. We got this guy. Now, if it's not working out, he's still protected. And I always asked you in the offseason, I'm like, if and when this doesn't go well, who's going to take the blame? And I'm not putting it on Hartman. He's surely a part of it. He's the starting quarterback his 6th year doing it. But it's been fascinating how the fan base, so many are still protecting Hartman and placing blame everywhere else. I mean, he's certainly, I always love that pie chart. I mean, he's he's definitely 20% of it. I mean, the receivers are a part of it. Parker's a part of it.
Mike, I don't know. I think it's the chat last night, people were going off on Hartman. I think it's honestly, I don't think it's been like that, to be honest with you. Just in what I'm seeing on the message board and the YouTube channels, I think that Hartman's.
Yeah. So going forward offensively, if we could touch on that,
let's do it.
I would love to see. We saw play action once or twice in this game. I only watched the game once. Again, I'm trying to get a house ready to sell, so we've been busy the last couple of days. But you saw a couple times we did play action. I would love to see Sam Hartman under center play action. Forgive me, I don't know who our starting running back is because Audric Estime didn't get on the field till the 3rd series. But Love is clearly more talented than. I mean, he's. Mike, most top 5, Mike, ready? Putting you on the spot. Top 3 most talented players in the team. Physically talented. Hurry up.
I'm sorry, you said top 3?
Top 3 team-wide. Top 3 most talented, athletically gifted players in the team.
God, dude.
Benjamin Morrison,
J Love,
Jeremiah Love,
Marist?
Yeah, I was I was gonna say Marist. Yeah,
Yeah.
Marist is physically talented, like guys that flash,
Yeah.
right? As frustrated as you get with Marist and his ability,
I
so
might put Hart over Morrison, but yeah, go ahead.
I would
Just in
not.
terms of physical,
I
but
would
go ahead,
not.
Mike.
Hart doesn't have the change of direction. To me, his feet kind of get stuck in mud when he has to change
Got a
direction.
shot for Raritan, but yeah, good. Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
So Love is easily our most talented player. I mean, Joe Alt's going to give you a run for your money. You know, Mitch Evans is a fine player, but Jeremiah Love
Right.
is different. Start him, and let's stop doing these ping pong, just jammed up like running formations, and get him something outside like off tackle, please. And you could still do that out of 12 personnel. Oh, the other thought about wide receivers too.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard a lot about their inability to get off press. I've heard about this for years now. We used to blame Alexander for not being able to get off press. You know, so press coverage, folks, you know, DBs, playing your head up, hands on. And it's like they don't really give you a move and then they just try to get into their route. And I thought about that. I'm mowing the lawn today. I'm thinking about these receivers and I'm like, why are they doing that? The reason that they're doing that, they don't give you like a nice shimmy to shake. They don't have time. They're not fast enough to go, right? So like an NFL receiver, an Odell Beckham, like they'll almost do like what would constitute like a dance move, like boom, 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 you know, fancy feet, and then they get into their route. Our guys don't have the speed. Like they're like, go, go, go. So they don't even give themselves a chance to shake the corner. Am I making sense there? You can be more specific with your setup on your release if I can get into fifth gear now, whereas these guys have to build up. Does that make sense?
It does. I've never heard that before.
I was thought about that. Yeah. So it's like they've got that corner and press. An NFL guy is gonna like, you know, they'll slide inside 2 steps and then boom. It's almost like a crossover in basketball. Our guys just give a little head nod and go, and it's because they don't have the speed to get on top. They're just trying to get into it now. I hope that makes sense when I watch.
No, it does.
All right.
It's interesting. So Jeremiah Love. Pop this up on the screen.
He's sick, dude. He's
5
sick.
rushes, 37 yards. And guys, I mean, he had gain of 13, gain of 5, gain of 3, gain of 5, gain of 11. He was really good. So he had 5 rushes for 37 yards, 2 catches for 16 yards on 2 targets. So that's 7 touches. Mike, guess how many snaps he got? Well, just off the top of your head, how many think he got on offense?
7.
Final answer?
Yeah, sure, 7.
12 snaps. So
Okay.
we got like when he gets in, they're like, all right, let's give him the ball. And then
Well,
good thing
you know what? He's a gunner on punt team, by the way. I noticed that. So he's a gunner on punt team. So I'm telling he might have had 7 offensive snaps.
Yeah. No. This is 12 offense.
Okay.
This is PFF. They don't include special teams.
Not only, I'm telling you, he's the most talented player we have, and I'm not taking anything away from Audric, but Audric estimate. But if you're not going to give Audric the ball 18 to 22 times a game, like he's not going to be effective, you know? So it's like,
because he's not like wearing the defense down.
It's just not it's just not who he is. Yeah, he's a knockout punch kind of guy. Like it's just not who he is. Like, yeah, he sort of sets the defense up. And he's been a great player for us. He was the nation's leading rusher, but he didn't play till the 3rd series. So it's like that goes back to again Parker. We looked beautiful throwing out our opening series script and we throw a pick, and then he freaked out. You know, you were having success with Love, and then we didn't see him again, you know.
All right, Mike, we have one more sponsor, and then I got to ask you about one player in specific before the YouTube chat rips my head off because we haven't talked about him yet, and then we're going to get into super chats. So folks would like to talk to you about the ticket buying process. It shouldn't be as stressful as it is. Once you find that event you want to go to, you got to find the seats you want, go through the ticket purchase process. It can be stressful, especially if you're looking for last-minute tickets. I want to introduce you to our newest sponsor, Game Time. Go to gametime.co, not .com, folks. Gametime.co. It's a fast and easy way to buy tickets for sports, music, comedy, and theater near you with killer last-minute ticket deals so you can relax and get hyped for that fun you're going to have. Use promo code BGI. You'll get $20 off your first purchase. And they will guarantee the lowest price, or they'll refund you 110%. You don't need to plan months in advance since they have deals right up to game time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use that promo code BGI for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Mikey, Jordan Faison. Derek Galloway is just losing his damn mind in the YouTube chat. We need to talk about Jordan Faison, or the cops might get called on us. Jordan Faison, 2 catches. Let me see how many snaps he had.
Not very many.
Yeah, not very many. 15. That's actually more than I thought it was going to be.
Incredible.
Yeah. I mean, the third down, the nice hitch or the curl where he sits down is wide open, but made the nice catch, and then the deep route for.
Yeah, I'm sure this week Notre Dame football media is going to put out a video about Jordan Faison. Wouldn't shock me, and we're gonna market the fact that our best player on offense, or our best receiver anyway, was a walk-on, right? We're gonna bottle that up, right? So yeah, I mean, Jordan Faison looked great. Like, happy to have him. Less than ideal, a walk-on who's, I think, here to play lacrosse. I mean, he's clearly a great athlete, can clearly run. I mean, he looked decidedly faster than any other receiver. It was so funny, Singer, when he caught his first pass, the announcers, like Joe Ketchator and whatever, Rogers, they didn't say anything because they didn't even have like his name in their prep work, right? They didn't even know who he was. But it's less than ideal. I mean, Tobias Merriweather not working out. Maybe he's a little too young to take blame, but that scenario where him not working out.
What's this not working out thing, Mike? I haven't heard this. What are you talking about?
I mean, just Tobias Merriweather's just not working out. Like, it's not.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like lifting weights. Okay, I got you.
No. I'm just, for lack of a better phrase.
Got you. Yep.
He's not there yet, and that really hinders the offense, because again, you're trying to slide Rico, who's just Rico. I mean, we'll find out eventually, but he's like a 4.65 40 guy. I mean, he's just not a burner. We really like him as a player. He competes, and he's a pro, and he's tough.
I don't like him as a Z. I don't like him as the wide side guy. I like him.
No, I was like, are we really trying to? It's like, so we're gonna take. This is where it's like you get into you get into the coaching. And it's just like, oh, Rico made a couple plays last week. It's like, let's start him against Louisville. Then it's like, never mind the fact that he doesn't have the physical, like, he's just not that guy, Well, then who else? That particular role in the offense. But it's like, well, he was good against Duke. Let's try him here. It's just like, it's so weird, man.
Well, who else they can play at Z? Faison? Like,
you'd have Tobias to develop again? You'd have to develop Tobias. Like, and even like Braylon James, like. Braylon James isn't the savior either, but it's like, how difficult can it be to put him in for 10 snaps a game and just like, you're running one of 2 routes? How difficult have Matt Salerno, like, folks, you can do stuff like this. Have Matt Salerno on the sideline with a little earpiece, get the call, and then he goes like this to James, or he goes like give him 2, like, have a different. Sam Hartman's got his own personal coach on the sideline. He looks at Gino after every single snap. So why couldn't you put a kid like Braylon, who can actually run, and give him a little extra coaching from Matt Salerno, for example? Like, think creatively. Don't just say, oh, Rico played well against Duke, we're going to try him at the field receiver. Like, it's dumb, man.
Yeah. All right, we're going to get into Super Chats.
All right.
We'll do Super Chats for about 20 to 30 minutes. Before we wrap up the show. I thought Goolsby has really brought it today, folks. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. I haven't told you guys to do that yet. It helps support our channel here. Whether you're super chatting, not super chatting, totally fine. Just please, we ask to hit the thumbs up. We ask that you do that. And of course, subscribe to our YouTube channel if you have not done so yet, so you can catch much more content covering Notre Dame football and recruiting. The first one that we had today was actually before we even started the show, from Robert. He said, love the show, gents. More of a statement. I just want 22 players that want to play every Saturday. I hope Notre Dame has that. If not, what are we doing here? I hope they're not playing anybody that doesn't want to be on the field.
No, I get what Robert's saying. Yeah, I mean, it's a certain. We've talked again, Mike. We've talked about this for a couple of years now. What Robert's saying is that guys that love football,
guys who need football.
Guys that love football, some guys that need football.
Yeah.
They need it. Like a Rico Flores strikes me as a guy that loves football, right? That doesn't mean he's going to take the top off of defense, but he'll go out there and compete, right?
Yeah.
So I agree.
Rico caught a pass on the first drive. My wife sat next to me. She goes, "He's my favorite player. I just really like Rico Flores." And I'm like, it's a great choice. Rico's a great kid. Really loved covering his recruitment. And Tyler Hork at Blue and Gold did a really good feature story on Rico and kind of his path to Notre Dame. So I definitely recommend it.
That was a great story. And again, like looking at his background, football is very important to Rico.
Yeah. Angelo with $5 super chat. Appreciate that. He says Freeman wanted the Utah offense coordinator. He understood he needed experience at the position. Again, we didn't pay and pull the trigger. Blowout loss to USC. Is Freeman done? I don't know how much you want to address.
No, I will not get into like, is Freeman done? But yes, Freeman should shoulder a lot of this blame. And I do feel like he's been up to this point, whether it's like the 10 men on the field against Ohio State, like this is stuff that's it's unthinkable. It's unthinkable.
Mike, sorry, go ahead.
I was saying like he hasn't really been held to the fire. And I think now you're starting to see his feet get held to the fire.
Oh, yeah.
Now, in regards to Angelo's question about Andy Ludwig, the Utah OC, Utah hasn't been great this year. Why? Because Cam Rising's been hurt. So their experienced quarterback who can run around, he runs around. He's been hurt.
Yeah. Just real quick, for looking at it through the player lens, what does like if they were to sack Parker and have Gaduli call plays or something, is that a big change? Like, is that like what does that do to the locker room? I don't know, like a mid-season fire. You don't see that a ton at the college level, a mid-season like firing or big change like that at the coordinator spot. You don't see that a ton. You see that much more in professionally, or maybe you guys can tell me I'm wrong, but is that something that's out of the equation for you?
I don't think so. No. So I don't think that'll, if anything happens, it'll be a demotion. And either like Rudolph has called play as the offensive line coach before, he would step up, or Gaduli would step up. He's called plays before. So Parker wouldn't get fired.
Yeah, I meant demoted. Yeah.
He would get demoted, but I mean, if he did get fired, it would almost be more impactful, almost in a positive way in the locker room, because you'd be like, oh shoot,
yeah,
like this just got real. Like we need to this man just lost his job. He's got to relocate his family. Like players know, especially at Notre Dame. I mean, those kids are smart.
Still doubt it happens, but
Like
folks want to say, oh, let Gino call plays. Guys, all I heard last year was anything would be better than Tommy Rees. Anything would be better than Tommy Rees, guys. Like you can't just change coordinators every 2 weeks. But it
is weird that like, why is it that you could turn on any game on any Saturday and be like, watch real offense, and it's just like Notre Dame in the recent history, it's like it's Reese's fault. It's this quarterback's fault. It's just like we just don't score points. And I'm almost of the mind where I wish Tim was on the show with us. I wish Notre Dame would hire. I can't say that because Reese, I guess, was, as I'm thinking about it. But it's like I almost wish we would hire a head coach that played at Notre Dame. I don't know if there's any former players. Like I know Anthony Weaver's a guy I played with. He's coaching in the NFL. But it's like I almost feel like that you almost have to have a head coach that like understands that Notre Dame experience, that maybe knows how to push those buttons. Because it just doesn't seem like we quite know what buttons to push.
Maybe didn't with Reese either, so I don't know.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. But I'm saying like as a head guy.
Okay.
It's just interesting.
Yeah. Chris says offense is predictable.
Sure.
No defense fears our receivers, which allows them to protect the box. How can we hope to attract top-tier athletes to play on the outside with our current offensive philosophy? I mean, I can answer real quick. The last part is it's if you're a Notre Dame coach, you just say to the top-tier athletes, see, this is why we need you, and you'll be able to play right away. That's a pretty easy sales job. But Mike, thoughts on this?
Yeah, great question. Yes, that's all true. They can just play. It's a lot like Al Golden's scheme. We have got pretty good corners, so we can just lock you up and then just blitz, right? We can just have fun with all the other toys because we know those two. Leave that question up, would you please? No, it's okay. So we was talking about, loading the box, and we was talking about how do we recruit top tier talent, right? let's break that down real quick. Give me 30 seconds. There is a kid that I train. His name is Michael Burt. He's a tight end here in Omaha, Nebraska, Creighton Prep. He's going to University of Iowa, right? He's going to University of Iowa. And I know their tight ends coach pretty well, Abdul Hodge, right? We both came out. He played linebacker. So we text, we talk about kids, this and that. And he was like, oh, no, I was tight end U. And I'm like, no, dude, Notre Dame's clearly tight end U. And he's like, no, man. He's like, we don't even recruit the Notre Dame kids. He's like, we're not recruiting Michael Mayer. We're not recruiting, Raridan. We don't recruit these kids. We develop kids. And I'm like, huh. And it's a different philosophy. So they look for maybe a slightly undersized kid. And they put these tight ends in the NFL, the George Kittles, Noah Fant, et cetera, recent history. So when we talk about top tier talent, Singer, you cramping?
My back's just hurting. I'm trying to stretch it out a little bit.
You got to stay hydrated, brother. Got to. But to answer that question, the last thing, this I think is pretty poignant. Top tier talent. Throw the rankings out. Throw them out. Outside of Cam Williams and Braylon James, those are the only two receivers that I remember in recent history that can actually freaking run. They can run. So find me film of dudes that can run. Ratings be damned. Because I can put on Rico Flores' film. I can put on Jaden Grayhouse's film, having been around athletes my whole life. Like the kid's, he can't run. Now, obviously he's fast, but he's not fast. So it's like, forget the ratings. Go give me kids that can run. So we talk about top tier, forget the ratings. Top tier is different than talent. We need guys that can run.
Jake R says, Mustache Goolsby is a new character unlocked. I love it. Mike Nolan, appreciate the $2 super chat. And then the 10 says, Goolsby, are you more concerned about the offense or defense going into USC? We even talked about USC next week. Good God.
I watched them play Arizona last night. Arizona's got some great looking athletes, by the way. They really do. Maybe it's just those white uniforms. I haven't even thought about the USC game per se. It's just a lot of backyard football. That Caleb Williams is so good. He's just out there dicking around, Singer. He's literally dicking around. He's dicking around. Like it's Carter Nelson, this Notre Dame recruit, right? He's committed to the Huskers. He plays 8-man football in the middle of nowhere, Nebraska. He's so good. He could do a front flip if he wanted to, during a play. That's Caleb Williams. He's a freak.
Yeah.
Offense, I would say that the defense scares me more because we miss so many tackles. And I think that Caleb Williams can and might just embarrass us. If the offense gets embarrassed and the offense plays well, it's kind of a collective thing. But Caleb Williams, and he has that in his DNA, I mean, he could intentionally embarrass us, and that would suck.
Yeah. When I first saw this question, I was thinking offense, but now I'm just thinking you could see Notre Dame going a 6-minute drive, get into the end zone, cut it, that 21-7 lead to 21-14, then USC scores in 45 seconds. It's shit.
Yeah, that again, the way that they play that game last night against Arizona, everything's wide open. It's like playing ball at recess, laterals. I mean, it's wild. It's wide open.
Mike, appreciate the $10. My boy Lux ND says the last second game winner, an amazing video, completely overshadowed the offense struggles the last 2 weeks. This was easy to see coming. Lux, you are in alignment with Mr. Goolsby. Lux, appreciate the $5 super chat.
That video was us polishing a turd is what that was.
I'm so offended. It says better or worse. Worse as a team. It's only a question still because we have Hartman and not Pine.
Let me read that again. Better or worse? Worse as a team. It's only a question still because we have Hartman and not Pine. So because we have Hartman, we can turn it around. That's fair. Don't throw 3 picks. They dropped a fourth one, but yeah, I agree.
Trash $2 says subscribe, and love Mike and Mike. Well, thank you, Trash. Always appreciate your support. Theodore says Maris is still starting. Enough said.
Yeah, there is an accountability piece to that and that's where remember Prince Kali? Remember him? Everybody? Mm-hmm. He won the Buckus in high school, was close to a 5-star, right, Mike? I mean, was he up there?
Yeah.
Never really saw the field, because he couldn't understand Golden's defense. And I talked about this last week. If Marcus Freeman is a world-class recruiter, which I still believe, and he's bringing in high-end talent, multiple kids that can do a lot of different things on defense. Most importantly, they can run. But that's on one hand. And the other hand, you got Golden's scheme, which is like you got to be a brain surgeon apparently to learn it. Those two things don't compute. You got this high-end talent, but you got to be a brain surgeon to run the defense, which is only reason why you see Marist playing. But Marist hasn't been great. Prior to this Aztec formation this year with him playing outside linebacker now, he was awful last year. And Prince Kali is watching this going, what gives? I'm out of here. I'm homesick. I'm not playing. This guy's stinking up the joint. I'm leaving. I don't blame him. I don't blame him. How many tackles did he have? Oh, I missed it.
Yeah, no, I got you. He had 6, 2 solos.
JD had another good game, and we just real quick shout out some players on defense.
Yeah, good.
I thought Kaiser flashed. Morrison didn't have a great game. I thought Mills has been much more steady recently. Much more steady. Like you see him more in the backfield. Xavier Watts flashed. Patello's been a little bit of a disappointment, man. I was rooting so hard for that dude, coming into the year. I even said on our show, I was like, if he gets double-digit sacks, I won't be surprised. But anyway, yeah.
Okay.
I love that we have Marist as a player. I really do. And they ask a lot of that kid. But it's like, what's he going to do this week? It's fun. Or not do.
Brian says R1 turnover. What play did Hart get beat on? A simple 7-10 yard hook. Why don't we attack defenses with that play consistently, pitch and catch?
Well, okay. On our one turnover on defense, Hart got beat. And again, people like when I do these breakdowns, Singer. It's like when you teach kids, like, and I can never work out the screen. But long story short, like if a DB's playing off, you were trying to get him to flip his hips and open his shoulders. That's the name of the game. So if he's playing 4 yards off and I can eat up that cushion with my speed and I can make him nervous and I'm going to go deep and then he flips his shoulders and then boom, I sit down, right? You agree? Third team all conference.
4th.
That's it. C-ball in Florida. So that's like the name of the game, offense and defense. So why can't we do that? Pitch and catch, because we can't get off the press. We're just getting bullied. But yes, Hart did get beat. He flipped his hips on a 6, 7, 8 yard stop route because he's getting worried about getting beat deep. Flips his hips, comes back, misses the tackle, happens to extend an arm, and just by the grace of God got his hand on the ball. Not a great play. He was beat and he missed the tackle. He just happened to force. Go watch it back. I swear to God, that's what happened.
Brian, appreciate the super chat. Scoop Bruce says, to lessen the pain we endure nearly annually, we need to stop having championship aspirations until we have elite players alongside elite staff. When was the last time we had both? Do we ever again?
I mean, he's not wrong. I don't think our players are that bad. I just think that, specific to the offense, because it's a little painful. You have an elite quarterback, right? That's what we're told. You've got an elite offensive line. I believe that still. In the grand scheme of things, our line, they're much better than average. But Parker's just got to pick something and pick a lane and stick to it. And then maybe give Hartman the ability to audible. And this is simple stuff. Going back to like Salerno telling Braylon James what to do on any given play with a little earpiece. That's entirely possible. Singer, my senior year, I was hurt, broke my collarbones or whatever. And they put me in charge, embarrassingly. We were playing some team and it was some backfield formation. Like when I saw it from the sidelines, I was supposed to wave a towel. You watching me, Singer?
Mm-hmm.
My coordinator was like, if you see this from the back, like let the guys in the field know. And like, it seems so high school, but that was something we did. And our defenses were pretty good back then. So I might even with like Sam be like, okay, first quarter, this is your check. Second quarter, this is your check. Like you just that's already built into his brain. Here's the play call, and then you can check out of this, based off of what he sees numbers wise, whether the box is loaded or not. But yeah, pick a lane, Parker, and stick to it.
Scoob appreciate the 10. Chris at a $5 super chat. Don't see a comment though, Chris. I'll be looking for you in the comments if you have something you want us to talk about. Theodore said, here's the rule so we can all make sure we do not forget it. Notre Dame will not be successful with the first time head coach. That's the only rule. Okay.
Yeah. This might be a little bit different because I do think that Freeman's a great recruiter. It's just he's got to get himself caught up in terms of operations game day. Truly.
Theodore, appreciate you. Domer Wop says, just noticed Goolsby stash as he joined the Chicago Fire Department. Goolsby, do you have any updates on your career?
No.
Domer Wop, appreciate you. Tyler Fisher says, Goolsby, do players take USC seriously or break down for another loss Saturday night?
Well, I think they absolutely take him seriously. Caleb Williams is the best player in the country and has been for over a year now, going on 2 seasons. I mean, we're going to lose unless we can score points. Give me a freaking break. So it's just like, you could say to put that on the players. They didn't take it seriously. They weren't up for the game, whatever is the case. I mean, some of this is just checkers, some of it. I mean, and I'm the first guy to blame players, but our offense is bad.
Yeah. I appreciate the last super chat. I think it was from Tyler. JW Wheels 2000 says, why haven't we brought outside analyst in for offense? Go the old Bama approach.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. And I will say it. I'm not saying this is the case, but I'm just saying. I live in Nebraska. Scott Frost. Very excited about, the golden child coming home, right? Won a national championship with them as a quarterback, hired all of his boys, and it wasn't good. Now, I do think that Marcus Freeman has a much higher character than Scott Frost. I think he's a better man all the way around, but hiring your friends, don't they say that, Singer? Don't go into business with your friends, right? It's just, that's as much of a historical track record, not having success hiring your friends, as maybe a first-year head coach at Notre Dame.
That's why I think we would do well in real estate together because we're not friends, Mike. So
that's it. Never even met you.
He's not lying. Theodore says, Goolsby, if you were one of the players that really pushed for Marcus Freeman to be hired, wouldn't you play for him hard? Or are these players letting him down?
No, I think it's the other way around. I mean, I think that Freeman's letting them down. And we talk about, and I think our guys play hard. I mean, I think they do. Yeah. But I've been in games, to answer Theo's question, like, we're specific to get like USC. You'd go into halftime maybe down by a touchdown and wind up losing by 38. And that wasn't on us as players. That's on the coaches for a lack of adjustments. And we always talk to fans, love to throw around no adjustments. But it's like this game goes in 7-7, and then the second half is a completely different story. That's on coaches. So I don't think it's the players not playing hard, but these kids aren't stupid either, Theo. Like if they know they brought a knife to a gunfight schematically,
Yep.
Anyway.
Theodore, appreciate the super chat. Charlie Weiss's last belt loop says, we finally had receivers that is able to get open in Faison, and we don't see him again after the touchdown. Why is this with Notre Dame? They did the same to Tobias and last year.
Well, Tim Hyde touched on this a lot last night. Like, yeah, we rotate like crazy. I don't have that answer. I mean, Faison, to me, just watching tape, like he looks much faster than any other receiver that I've seen, and that's Tobias included. Yeah. Tobias had 1 catch in 2022. I don't know what this guy's talking about, by the way. Same thing with he had 1 catch last year.
Charlie,
a walk-on already has more than he did last year.
Theodore with another one. He says they are playing Estime wrong. When you run him out of shotgun, his first step is stand still. If they played under center, first step is forward.
I don't disagree. I mean, that's him standing still, that little lateral step. He's waiting for these blocks to develop. But gosh darn it, dude. Like our inside run game, it's like an intersection in Times Square, dude. It's just, there's so much movement. I'm like, how could anybody find a seam in there? And I'm a big if I was going to blow up the offense, Singer, I would put Hartman under center. I'm going with 2 backs. Forget this 5-headed monster. That was cool against Central Michigan. We got 2 backs. We got Estime. We got Love. I start Love just to light a fire under Estime's ass, and I think he likes that underdog role. And then you're running inside zone with Estime. He can run outside zone, but you're running outside zone with Love. And throw a bootleg in there. And then we got tight ends dragging over the top. It's not that complicated. You could do that out of 12 personnel. You could do it out of an ace formation. If I was going to blow up the offense and start over, that's exactly what I would do.
Pro style, I formation, just
not Davis even. Druid. No, I'm talking about Estime is 7.5 yards deep. Sam is under center, and we're going boot. So Sam's going to take the ball and he's going to meet Estime, and then I keep it. Oh, and then I hit Raritan on a drag over the middle when I pull the ball.
Yeah.
You stress that defense out with Love. He puts his foot in the ground. I can't believe we haven't seen Love just crease a run yet with his ability, and it's because everything's so gunked up with these formations.
Yeah. Theodore, appreciate the super chat. Joe Medina, I am not reading that, but I appreciate. I chuckled, but I'm not reading that.
I'll read it. What do you say? Anyways, I got my iPhone down here reading that.
Goolsby, who would you marry, kill, Singer, Horka, Hyde? Do you want to play the game, Mike Goolsby?
No.
Yeah.
No.
So you said you want to read it. Oh, you said you're going to read it on your phone. I thought you said you were going to read it.
Yeah.
All right. So Charlie clarifies, after Tobias got his 1 catch in 2022, we didn't see him again, is what I'm saying. Hopefully this clears up what I meant. Have a good night.
No, it's all good. It's all good, buddy. Sorry I'm worked up.
Again, Joe, appreciate the super chat. Charlie, appreciate the follow-up super chat there. Tim, very generous, $15 super chat, says, if not Parker, then who? Gaduli, bring in someone new. Is it wise to start cleaning up house midseason? Yeah, we can't touch on this. I mean, I think, Mike, if you lose to USC, get blown out, then lose again, maybe. But
I just think with Parker, it's just I think he's overthinking it. It's look at your 2 backs, look at your tight end group. Let's just stop overthinking it. And like I said, after Sam threw that first interception, it was just listen, Singer, forget real estate. We're going to open up a restaurant.
All right.
Okay. You can come up with a name while I'm spitballing here.
All right.
But let's just say we're going to open up an Italian joint, right? We're going to try and make the best, 6 to 10 pasta dishes possible. Make them perfect. We're not going to try and opening night, it didn't go well. We had a plate sent back. We're not going to start making cheeseburgers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's okay, well, cheeseburgers aren't selling. It's now we open up on Sunday. By Wednesday, we're trying to make pizza, or we're trying to freaking serve Chinese food. Pick a lane. So everything that he does in that game plan, it's just there's no flow. And it's stop overthinking it, Jared. You got good players.
Tim, appreciate the super chat. And not much gets me going more than just a good illustration like that, Goolsby. So I appreciate it.
What's the name of the restaurant, by the way?
Mike and Mike's Bistro.
Okay, perfect.
Just put that on my ass. You like it?
It's perfect. Bistro's wide open. A lot of room for interpretation.
I don't know. Matt says, this is what you get when you settle for Parker. A feel for free after Andy Ludwig interview disaster buyout was stopping the run on the D-line or linebackers.
Honest to God, Matt, I can't give you an accurate answer because I'm in the middle of trying to sell a house and I only watched the game once. Off-season fodder, Mike, put this on a notepad. Tim Hyde and I see linebacker play completely different. So the second time that we got gashed on that touchdown run, and we just love to get gashed on offense. We love it. I put that on Maris, and he was like, no, he filled the A-gap like he should have. It's on DJ Brown. I'm like, okay. So at the end of the day, to answer Matt's question, generically speaking, stopping the run is on the linebackers. Even if my defensive lineman screws up, I am behind him. I have to make him right. My job isn't to be a robot and fit where somebody else already is. Playing linebacker, Matt, is playing running back. But as opposed to avoiding the tackle, I'm trying to make it. It's the same thing. You find error.
All right, guys. That's the last call on super chats. This one from Theodore, we're gonna call it there. So we got 12 super chats to get to. So please, no more super chats. We love you guys, but Goolsby's got things to do. Matt says, okay, we already just got this one. Matt, thank you. Boom, boom. Charlie Weiss. Okay, another one. Mr. Goolsby, as a former captain, what advice would you give the team, especially since it seems the team is regressing every week? Why is this? Thank you. So, Gools.
I did say, yeah, gosh. I just probably just deal with my unit. Just deal with my unit. But it's tough as a former captain to like motivate or call people out if you're playing bad too. That's a very slippery slope. So if I'm not like JD's played well the last couple of weeks because of that, JD Bertrand has earned the right to call out his teammates. But yeah, all you can do, man, is focus on your unit. That's all you can do. That's all you can do. You can't affect, I mean, in this world of football and egos and all of this, like you cannot say anything about coaching, so like there's going to be whispers in a locker room about play calling or whatever, but you just have to toe the line. So as a player, you just focus on your unit and try and hold people accountable.
Tim says, keep it simple, stupid. There you go.
Yeah.
I mean, let's think about Reese. Like, at least he had the identity was pretty clear. I feel like they ran the ball and threw it to Michael Mayer.
Hey, but real quick, Singer, didn't I say that last week? Did I not say that? If you changed Mitch's jersey number to 87, it looked like what we've seen from the offense recently is Pine to Mayer. Instead it's Hartman to Mitch Evans. It's really the same offense.
It's all Hartman has.
It's incredible.
Boilermaker D73 said, my dad is recruiting coordinator. A very generous $20 super chat. Appreciate that. He says, my dad is recruiting coordinator for a Big Ten school. His comments, terrible receiver play, bad coaching. Fan base won't tolerate this much longer. This is an 8-4 team.
So his dad's a recruiting coordinator for Purdue. Let's look him up. Boilermaker. Way to be discreet, buddy. No, I mean, I agree across the board. I agree. And I thank you for the super chat. But yeah, super chat earlier. How do we find top tier talent at the wide receiver position? Throw out the rankings, use AI, use analytics, whatever. Find me guys that can run. That's all I care about.
Boilermaker, though, appreciate the generous super chat. Mike says, still believe in Marcus, but what does Mike Goolsby say about how does he create a culture of accountability in players and coaches?
I'm glad that this came up, and I want to spend a little time on this if I can, Singer.
Yeah, of course.
I played for a coach in Tyrone Willingham who had all of this messaging, all the time. And I've told that story on this podcast before. Up until when Tyrone Willingham came into Notre Dame, I hadn't started. And I felt like I should have got a shot at starting as a sophomore. In his first meeting with the team, he was talking about whatever he was talking about. And I was like, dude, I don't jive with any of this. I'm here to play football and compete for a national championship. Like, I come from a good family. I don't need another father figure, right? Like, I just want to win and get to the league. And a lot of what Freeman, this 1 day, 1 life thing, it's all fine and well, Singer, but don't forget that you need 11 guys on the team. So you can't be too into the clouds with all this messaging and this fluffy, feel good type stuff. You can't get too into the hype and the videos and all this stuff. This is football. At the end of the day, this is football. So sometimes it's forget the messaging. It's focus on football execution. Forget anything else.
Gotcha. Mike, appreciate the $10. Nathan said, how does the O-line get progressively worse since Ohio State?
That's an interesting one.
Yeah, we didn't talk about the offensive line much today.
Yeah, I mean, I think like Blake Fisher in particular was another like highly touted top tier talent. And he's never had great feet and he was a little out of shape, or understandably so. And yeah, I mean, Fisher's coming back. Was right about that as well. Fisher's going to come back. Let's break this down. Fisher's going to come back. I don't think he's that great of a player. I just don't. Is he the 3rd round pick, something like that? Sure. But he's not what you were told he was. Joe Alt still is. And I know Joe Alt got put on his tushy this game. I do think he got his foot stepped on. You don't go down like that unless you got your foot stepped on. I've only watched the game once. I have no concerns with Joe Alt. I don't think Blake Fisher is that great. I don't think that either of our guards are that great. And I don't think that Zeke Correll is that great. I think that Zeke Correll is like a, above average college football player. I never liked Rocco. I like Charles Jagasaw.
You called for him to be playing, I think.
I still think he might. I mean, shoot, if we're going to move poor Billy Schrauth from left guard to right guard in the same game, you're telling me you can't, get Jagasaw some run at right guard? Hell, I'd kick, Fisher down to guard and I'd put Wagner at right tackle while we're at it. I mean, you're looking for the best athletes, the biggest, best athletes. So to answer that question, how did we get worse? I don't know if we did. We just played better teams. And Tim Hyde and I have been talking about this. The first 4 teams that everybody got so excited about were they were bad teams. They were bad. And now you're playing quality teams and we don't look as good.
Yeah, and sometimes, I mean, there's only 5 offensive linemen. They can't block 7 guys.
This is true.
So, yeah, I think, again.
But some of that's on the quarterback then. I mean, that's the NFL. Hot route, boom,
Some of that's on the offensive coordinator for, so, yeah. On the receivers, right?
Doesn't it sound like, though, bro, like to have a check or an audible or something, it just makes – if we're going to see the type of boxes we see and a run was called, an inside run in particular, and we can't get out of it, that's the stuff a previous super chatter was like, do players lose faith in coaching or whatever? How do you motivate them? That's the stuff where these kids aren't stupid. They're watching the same film today that we saw. They're like, why is coach calling this? It's 3rd and 3. They've got they got the freaking mascot playing a strong safety. There's 12 guys out here and we still have to run this play. Those kids aren't stupid.
Yeah. Garth with $2 said, I think we miss Bayless more than we are letting on.
Freeman's program.
Appreciate it. Garth, Sojo says, Goolsby, from a player's perspective, what happens at halftime inside the locker room?
Generically speaking, it's very quiet. You kind of go in there, use the restroom or whatever, and you just sort of sit there. I mean, if he's asking, you just kind of sit there. And everybody's kind of yelling or whatever. Like there's chirping between players. It's just a bunch of platitudes, like a lot of nothing being said. And then you wait for your coach to come back because they kind of huddle. The players are in the locker room. Coaches are off doing their thing. They come back with a couple talking points and off you go. I mean, nothing really happens. It's like halftime adjustments. College gives you enough time to do it. In the NFL, like you take a leak and you're right back out there in the NFL. I mean, a lot more of these checks and adjustments that we love to talk about, they need to be made during the game.
Theodore,
or prior to the game. If this doesn't work, then. If this doesn't work, then we go here. Versus like, it seems like Parker's just like going down his playlist, like, nope, maybe, nope. It's like there needs to be a natural progression built into a game plan.
Yeah. Theodore says, same under center, run the old Stanford formation with extra tackle, run to the wide side with lead blocker. Also play actions, not that hard.
So I agree. Yeah, we don't see any play action.
Yeah.
And we've already seen Sam under center earlier in the season.
Yeah. And last but certainly not least, Hank just says, I love the show. Go Arsh, and I believe in Freeman. So, Hank,
that a boy.
We're with you. So, Ghouls, any closing thoughts? Anything you want to wrap us up with tonight?
I think my closing thought would be, of all of the things, it would be to Marcus just to be like, forget the messaging, because now he's going to be like, this is what we've talked about. It's what do you do when you're down? Like, it's all this fluff. It's fluff. And like, this is another opportunity for him to get into that kind of like fluffy messaging. And it's like, throw all that crap out and let's just focus solely on execution, focus solely on football. This isn't about motivation. It's not about, the quote of the day. It's just focus on execution, because that's what football is. It just, that'd be my message. And as far as USC goes, it's the same kid we're playing against that we won a Heisman for. He's fun to watch, but in a lot of ways, like, he's everything that's wrong with college football. And he's the same kid that had the FU on his face, still paints his fingernails. And somebody just get a clean hit. Somebody get a clean hit on this kid. That's all I can say as far as SC. I'm not optimistic about it. I am if we get a clean hit on him. Just somebody smack that kid. Somebody, He's the real deal. He's pretty special.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to put it there. Folks watching on YouTube, please hit the thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel if you have not done so yet. Podcast, if you enjoy the podcast, please leave a 5-star review. Again, only if you enjoy it. And, let us know why you do like listening to the pod. And, head to blueandgold.com. Goolsby, I'm sure, will be, posting on a thread at, God knows what hour of the night or morning, I should say.
Sure.
As Goolsby does at times. And you'll see some good recruiting updates, all sorts of coverage of the football team. So please go to blueandgold.com, $1 for 1 month to get you started on the website. Again, that's going to do it there. Appreciate you folks for watching or listening and making us a part of your day. We will catch you guys next time.